Hello artists, today we are going to make the epoxy resin Christmas tree. When you receive your kit, you shall have your framed glass. You'll have 4 little cups to place underneath. Okay, you will also have your resin and hardener in these bottles. You'll have a cup marked 1 and marked 2. You'll have some gems. Have a large starfish for the top and some small starfish for the tree. And you'll have a little tree trunk, some crushed glass, mirror actually, very shiny. You'll have some paint if you'd like to put some background color in. And you'll have mixing sticks and some sticks for just working things around. So I'm going to go step by step. And the first thing that we're going to do is to mix the resin. You will also have a pair of gloves in your kit. Okay. And what I'm going to do is start with bottle number 1, which is the resin. And I'm going to pour that in to the cup, and it should fill to about the number 3 there. Okay, you're going to have a little extra, so just let it get up to that line for the 3. Okay, and you'll do the same thing with the hardener, putting it into cup number 2. Just twist off that top, look for the numbers, you can see that, and fill it in to number 3. So the one side has numbers 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. And the wrong side that you don't want to measure on has like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So that way you know the right size. And you can put your caps back on. You could always use that little bit extra for another project. Okay. Now I'm going to start the mixing process. I'm going to pour number 2 into number 1. So I'm pouring the hardener into the resin. I want to use this big stick to make sure I get everything out of this cup and into cup number 1. Scrape it all out. And then I'm starting the mixing process. You don't want to mix too fast and you don't want to mix too slow. If you look at this up close, you'll see it looks like it becomes streaky and silvery and cloudy. And you're going to mix for about 2 to 2.5 minutes until that becomes clear. So while you're mixing, you want to make sure you scrape the sides, pull up from the bottom. Try not to mix so fast that you're getting bubbles. You want to just mix it until it becomes clear. So again, I'm not whipping it, I'm just mixing it. You'll see it starts to clear up. And I do have some bubbles in there, but I'm not worried about them because once they get onto the glass, while you're working, they dissipate. If there's a bubble that is stubborn when you're finished, if you have a barbecue grill lighter or a little Bic lighter, you can quickly zap it with the flame and that will burst the bubble. Okay, so my mix is just about done. I'm making sure that I'm bringing up what's in the bottom. I really want to make sure that's all mixing in. Okay. Make sure you look and see if it still looks a little stringy or like it's greasy in there. That means that it still needs to be mixed. Okay. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds. And I'm done. I'm ready to go. So you can leave the background of your project clear by pouring this whole cup onto the frame. And just a reminder, the frame is placed so you're looking at the front of the frame. You'll see underneath that there are siliconed corners in there. So the siliconed side is so that it doesn't leak. It's siliconed all around the frame. That's the side that goes down. You're decorating on the front side of the frame. So I'm going to put a little color in mine. So I'm going to kind of pour out about half or 2/3. And then I want to have a little green in my background. So I'm going to take the paint that came with the kit. I'm going to pull out a little popsicle amount here. I'm putting it into the cup. And you can see as it stirs, it's a little stringy looking. I don't want it to be that stringy looking. I want it to be nice and smooth, and make sure that the green is totally mixed in so that I can pour a little bit of this into my background. And this is totally up to you. You don't have to put any color in the background, but if you like that idea, this is how you'll do it. And so you want to get this on quickly. Okay. So I like that look, but I think I want to let it mix a little bit to give it like a wavy look. Okay, and you can also, once I'm done mixing, I'm gonna take off my gloves so I can work with the materials a little bit better. Okay, if you get anything on the edge, you want to have paper towels handy or baby wipes, and just wipe off any resin that gets on the edge of your frame. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to let it kind of mix around a little bit more. Just going to turn it. You can do that. Okay. And I do want it to get a little more, I want it to look a little more swishy. I want to get it into the edges. You can push this resin around. You don't have to worry about tilting it all into the corners. So I'm just making some designs back here. I think this looks pretty. Okay. And remember, when this is all solidified and dry, it'll look shiny and like glass. So you can create any kind of designs on here. to make sure I get the color off the sides here. If you get any of this resin on your hands, just wash it off very quickly. Okay. I'm going to start laying out my tree. Now you can get as creative as you like with this. It doesn't have to look the same as mine, but generally speaking, you're just going to try to get a shape as similar to a tree as you like. Going with the different gems. And you can have a thin tree, you could have a tall tree, chubby tree, any kind of tree you like. Now, even though I'm putting these down here in some sort of order, I will have to move them around because the epoxy, it will actually float in the epoxy. You have about 25 minutes or so to work on this before it starts to kind of gel up. You can use the little sticks to move around your gems. And remember, you don't have to put color in the background. You can keep this completely clear. If you don't like the green background, just let it, just pour it on totally clear without adding anything. All right, so I'm going to put it a little more over here. Move it around. Okay, so once you get your shape the way you like it, just kind of move it back if they do float away. Everyone will have a little tree trunk there. Everyone is has a little bit of a different shape. Okay. Then you can use this crushed glass to decorate around the edges. So when you picked out your kit, you probably picked out the blue or the green, depending on what you picked out. That's what you'll have in your kit. This is really shiny when this all dries up. This gives it a beautiful glimmer. These epoxy projects look great hanging in a window or on an easel near some light. If you put this all around the edges, it gives it a festive look, almost like a frame or a vignette. Okay, so I'm gonna use those. And on the little starfish, you can just get a little resin on the bottom and then lay them where you want them on your tree. Or you can just take a little bit up on a stick. Make sure that you have enough on. Just put them around the tree. You don't have to use all of them, and you don't have to put them all on the tree. If you want, you can put them actually around the picture. They're really, really cute. Okay. If you want to use more, or if your tree was bigger, you can use more. And then the final starfish is this nice large one. And as long as there's epoxy on it, it will stick, it'll stay on the glass. Okay, so I'm just going to dip a little bit there. Okay, I'm going to give a little here. If anything, if for some reason it doesn't adhere when it's dried, you can just hot glue it on after you're done with the project. Okay. If you feel like you want to add some more gems, you can still do that for quite a while. It's just starting to gel up a little bit right now, but it will remain sticky for probably up to an hour. So you're all set. Make sure that you clean around the edges so that, especially if your epoxy was colored, so that it doesn't stay and stain. Baby wipes are better than paper towels if you have them, or just get a damp paper towel. I want to make sure this is all dry. So the important thing now is that you should have this in a place where no one can touch it. Children, pets, keep it away from dust. And this has to be left alone for 3 days. You can't move it or touch it for 3 days. Another thing you might want to do is put maybe an empty box over the top of it to cover it from dust. But just don't touch it for those 3 days. When the 3 days are done, it'll be completely hardened. It'll be like glass, and you'll be able to then display it wherever you'd like. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna give you a better look at it. The finished product. Okay, you can see how shiny it is already and how nice that mirrored glass looks. It looks nice now and it's shiny, but it even looks more sparkly when everything is hardened. Okay, so there it is, our Christmas tree resin project, all done. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have, and have a great day.